Welcome to the Shine On podcast. Together, we are going to find inspiration and encouragement to shine on and shine bright and shine boldly in a world that needs light. So come on, let's get started. Recently, I had the opportunity to be interviewed by one of my favorite interviewers and pastors, Mike Sherbino at The Perspective. I couldn't wait to share it with you because I know you're excited to hear about Shine On Maisie and how she is impacting children, and some other little details about living life without hands and feet. Hope you're encouraged.
Hey friends, welcome to The Perspective. Mike Sherbino here. I am beyond excited about the program today. Reason being is this: Cyndi Wilkens is with us. She was here a while ago on the show, and she has preached at my church. I have her invited to come back again. When Cyndi comes and speaks, you listen. The incredible things she's overcome, mind-boggling, flesh-eating disease that required the amputation of both legs and both arms. And how do you raise a family? How do you do life? You're going to be totally blown away as Cyndi shares a bit of her story. But I'm also excited for the new children's book that she has authored. I'm going to be showing it to you in just a minute. You're not going to want to miss this incredible conversation. If you've ever been overwhelmed with life and wondering, how do I press on? Cyndi has a word for you. Have you ever felt like giving up? Cyndi has a word for you. Have you ever felt like there is no hope? Cyndi's going to have a word for you today to bring encouragement and strength into your life. As I said, I am so excited for today to be here with Cyndi Wilkens. And you know, there's many things she's accomplished. She's an accomplished wife, mother, speaker, author. I got her latest book. This is amazing. And a quadruple amputee. Cyndi, thank you for coming.
Thanks for the chance to be here.
And you blew me away today. You always do. When, you know, the weather outside, it's snowy, whatever. You have a 3.5-hour drive to get to the studio, and you often have somebody come with you, but you just flew solo on your own.
I did. It's very exciting when that happens.
Yeah, for who?
It's definitely the time when I have to really, really rely and surrender on God to supply everything I need at every time that I need it. So,
Well, you know, you have a powerful, powerful story, even on the program in the past. But would you just take a moment or two and retrace the story? Because you didn't come out of your mother's womb minus 4 appendages, did you?
no, I didn't.
No. That was a terrible time.
It was about 15 years ago. I woke from a coma to find Mark standing over me, and he had
Mark, your husband.
Mark, my husband, and he told me that they'd had to amputate my hands and feet. And at the time, we had a 5-year-old girl and a 3-month-old baby boy, and it was devastating. We had not grown up knowing the Lord. We had not even known who God was. We just made him into an image of who we thought he was. But in that moment, when I heard that all my world had come crashing down and I came to the end of everything I thought I was, I knew that I needed him most of all. And I gave it to the overcomer.
Wow. And all that happened in 25 minutes?
Yeah, that was the quick story.
Quick story.
One of the most beautiful moments that I would love to share with you today is the moment that I realized that I wasn't alone. And it came after seeing my children and them not knowing me. And having lost everything of myself, I lost my hands and feet. Those are part of our identity, our physical appearance.
Absolutely.
And after that, I lost something that seemed so small, but was so big for me, was when they came in and said, well, we have to cut off all your hair because it was in pretty bad condition. I remember lying there, allowing them to cut it. I couldn't move. I was still connected to machines and thinking, this is it, God. You've taken everything. I have nothing left of me. And it took having nothing left of me to be ready to say, yes, Jesus, to be ready to say, okay, what is it that you have for me? And I think that's beautiful because even in that moment thinking, I have nothing left of me, my children don't, my daughter was afraid of me because how do you prepare a 5-year-old to see her mom without hands? My son was a baby. He didn't even come to me. And I cried out and I had that moment where I said, there's nothing left of me. And God, all of a sudden, I felt him crying with me. In those moments leading up to saying, yes, I need Jesus to overcome this, I had thought I was alone. I was unseen, and that there was something I had done to deserve such a terrible fate. And yet the moments that I felt him crying along with me, I knew that I had a loving God holding my hand, even if I didn't have one.
I've never heard anybody describe something like you have just said. It's very powerful. How did you know that he was crying with you?
I was overcome with the feeling and the knowledge. I could sense his tears. And there was no doubt in my mind in that moment that I was not alone after all. And that he hadn't caused this to happen to me, which I questioned. But perhaps it had been allowed so that I would become his. Perhaps there was something in this that he had great purpose in. And so I clung to that without hands. I clung to that and knew that there had to be a purpose in this. And he has not failed at his faithfulness.
I never tire of hearing you say that he has never failed in his faithfulness. And I was reminded yesterday and today out of the story of Joshua as he gets to the end of his life. Twice in the final couple chapters, the statement comes out, not one of the Lord's good promises have failed. Not one. Okay, I mean, we could just spend a lot of time here, and I never get tired of doing that because it becomes such an encouragement in my own life. And your situation has trumped anything that I've had to go through, at least up to this point. But you've started a ministry.
Yes.
And of all names, it's called
Shine On Missions. And it's dedicated to assisting families in crisis through our print publications, books, podcasting and media, YouTube channel that brings people into my world living without hands and feet so that you can be encouraged to see my life of surrender and where God takes me. It's really on my heart for people to see what God can do for a woman without hands and feet and say to themselves, if he can do that for her, imagine what he can do for me. We assist families in crisis around the world. We partner with international global partners, and we work with some people in Nepal, and we're working with people in Mexico to bring them these materials, the books.
Well, you're pointing to this book before we look at it, and this is an exciting book. It's for children, and maybe that's why I understood it so well. It was great, but tell me about some of the books and what you're talking about, because you have written, you're an author.
Yes, I've written my book, Shine On, which is our story. My husband wrote a chapter. Mark wrote a chapter in it as well.
He's a great guy, if I don't say so myself.
And, he stood by me and he fought for me to live because there was such a dire prognosis for me that it did look like there was not a chance for me to recover. So there was encouragement to relieve me of life support. And he fought, thank God.
That encouragement is always absolutely so huge. We're going to talk about your book, this one in a moment. This one's called Shine On Maisie. Love the book. And, people say that in generic, we do interviews. No, I really like it. I just want you to know that. Okay, so let's have some fun with it. Our viewers are going to see pictures come up, but I'm looking at this and the beautiful drawings, and I'm looking forward to reading it to my granddaughter, hopefully this weekend.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and I've already been practicing a little bit, but it's just beautiful pictures, whatever. Okay, I'm going to let you talk, and I'm just going to leaf through it. So tell me about the book.
Well, as you can see, Shine On Maisie is my story, and it has 3 characters, Maisie Daisy, Penelope Bear, and Benny Beaver. And this is Maisie's focus story. Maisie is a daisy who was planted in the forest with all her friends.
Okay, there she is.
Yes. And as you walk through Sealy Forest, many people walk through Sealy Forest in hopes of seeing these beautiful wildflowers. And one day God planted Maisie, who was very fragile, and he planted her as a fragile seed under an ancient maple tree. But Maisie grew up always looking at the wildflowers and thinking, I wish I was as pretty as them. And so as she started to blossom and bloom, she never felt seen or pretty. And she always had this loneliness in her, being that lone daisy under the maple tree. One day, Maisie encountered a terrible storm.
You've had a few storms.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yes. And in this storm, she felt herself crying out in fear. And as she was crying out, saying, I'm all alone, this is so scary, she could feel the wind blowing her petals and pulling her at the roots. But all of a sudden, she felt a tear fall upon her. And suddenly she realized that the maple tree was crying with her.
Did this come out of your experience?
It did.
In the hospital?
It did.
Jesus, he was crying with you.
Yes. And the beautiful thing about this story is that the tree actually leans over to protect Maisie from the storm and does a few other things to protect her. Now, Maisie comes out of the storm knowing that she needed him all along and that he was the one who she needed to lean on. And so, although she came out of the storm with some petals missing, Maisie shines through the forest so bright and beautiful that today all of the forest creatures come to see her, as well as people walking through Sealy Forest. Maisie is a story about shining the love of Jesus and what happens when we lean into him and find purpose in him. The story comes to life because of my amazing illustrator, Elizabeth Michelle. And it was inspired when I was lying in the hospital bed, trying to find ways to reach out to my children. So I would write stories in my head. And when children read the story, they have shared so many pieces of scripture they have found in it, and that it has made them feel seen no matter what they walk through. It's translated into Nepalese. It's in Nepal. It's gone into schools.
Nepalese.
Yes, and it's being translated right now into Spanish. It'll be going to Mexico at the end of March. And they tell me that it reminds them that they're not alone. And no matter what they go through, they can shine. Jesus.
I'm so excited for all the people in Ontario that are watching. You're going to preach at our church on Mother's Day, and we have a large Spanish population. So you better bring a ton of these books.
I can't wait.
What an encouragement that will be. That's huge. You know, the problem with talking with you is I don't want to talk. I'm a pretty good interviewer, they say, and I just get overwhelmed because I'm pondering how you have allowed Jesus to shine through you, and I can't even begin to imagine. And what really amazes me, in all seriousness, is you've got an incredible sense of humor. It might be worse than mine. That's pushing the boundary, but how you've learned to navigate. How has God used your sense of humor in the midst of all this?
You know, there's days when I'm so thankful that he gave me a sense of humor. And it is a wonderful way to put other people at ease, because it's not every day you meet a woman with no hands and feet. And oftentimes people don't know how to respond to me. Children don't know how to respond to me. I've been in situations where I walked into a daycare in Nepal and those children had never seen anybody with robot legs, let alone missing their hands. And so to bring out that humor and to find humor in moments when, you know, I arrived at the studio and said, well, I have to change my shoes, but I have to pop up my leg to do it. And, you know, to find humor in every moment, just it lightens life. And we have a choice. We can laugh or we can cry. Who doesn't want to laugh? Laughing and joy is infectious.
I would think there would be days when you must have just sobbed. No, sobbed.
Yeah. And
even when you're by yourself in the kitchen, the frustration of, like, how do you take off a lid off a pickle jar or something?
sometimes I can't. But just the other day, I realized that God, in the last few years, has given me the most incredible gift. He has allowed me to forget what it's like to have hands. And that's so pivotal in my journey, because with hands, I knew that if I was plugging in something to an electrical socket, I would do it right away. I could plug in my appliance just like that. But without hands, I could have to try 10 times every time before I can get everything lined up and at the right angle. So he's given me a gift, and a sweet, bittersweet gift of not remembering, so that I'm not frustrated when it's time to accomplish little things that take so much.
Would you do me a favor? Would you talk to the people today who are suffering and give them a word of hope and encouragement?
I would be honored. If you're facing loss or grief today, I want to share with you Psalm 56, verse 8. The Lord records our tears. My story could have had a different ending. I could have woken up. I could have said, my husband's not there. My children don't know me. I don't want to go on. I could have given up. But Jesus doesn't want us to give up. He wants to hold our hands, even if we don't have them. He wants to hold your hand. He wants to carry that burden for you. And loss and grief have a way of sneaking up on you when you least expect it. But he has a way of being there in every moment, at every time. We just have to let him in. Your life has great purpose for him. And that pain that you're feeling right now, that loss, perhaps it's a loss of a job or a loss of a person or a loss of hope. Well, he can fill that. He can fill that. You just have to let him. So I want to say to you today, don't quit. He created you for a purpose, and he has a reason for you to shine his light. He wants to shine his light through you. So don't give up.
I love that. Cyndi, thank you for coming. I'm looking forward to partnering more with you as we share the hope that we have in Christ. And learning from you has been an incredible gift. And now I'm going to be excited to share with my granddaughters about Maisie. How cool is that? And people can get copies of this wherever good books are sold.
Amazon
That's
and
so
wherever.
exciting. Look forward to having you back with us again.
I'll look forward to it as well. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Today we've been talking about sharing, and sharing also includes sharing yourself. I had to come to the end of myself to find Jesus, but you don't have to do that. You can find him today and share your life with him because he wants that relationship with you. See you next time on Shine On, and until then, shine bold and bright in our world because it needs light.